Hey, what's going on? This is Jeremy. Just wanted to check in with you guys real quick. Give you a little bit of an update. I usually don't do this, but I just want to make sure that the volume is good. I got a little bit of a different look. I had to had to clean up. I sent Wild Man Steve back to the jungle for a little while. So, without taking too much time, so basically, like I had previously said, I wasn't around. I wasn't able to actually watch price, but I gave you an idea of what I was looking for, and we were looking at Bitcoin, but the review, I believe I may have alluded to a fact of could be continued highs, but maybe looking for a pullback or whatnot. So either way, um, what I ended up doing was basically marking out basically my 6 p.m. from yesterday. We do see that the buy side was swept out. We did not clear the sell side, and we came back up pre 8:30 to take this level. And just to kind of put it into context, it's gonna get like super ridiculous when I go to the 4 hour here for a minute. I'll keep all of the other stuff a little bit lower, but prior to these two candles, right? Because I've just gone to the 4 hour. I haven't gone to the daily, but prior to price action this morning, and this is as of the 2 a.m. candle. So 2 a.m. purged. Um, Technically, you could have looked at this as a soup, if you will, for the 6 p.m. open or the Monday open, even though it was yesterday. This was indicative of your 6 a.m. 4 hour candle, which I've marked out this low. So essentially, let's just drop back down here, and then I'll pop back up and kind of make this make a little bit more sense. So in essence, just framing this trade like the way that I was looking at it before I had to leave this morning at about 10 after 6 was I was looking at and I just marked this out. So I know you're going to be like, how did you leave 10 after 6 and you marked this out? When I came home, I looked at this, but my idea was based on this move here, which was overnight. So when I woke up at 4:30, this had already been taken. The buy side had already been taken. So I had framed my idea and concept based on this old manipulated low back here from Friday, where I basically even wrote out here closure back inside could be intermediary short, right? And the intermediary short would have been back to this 4 hour candle range high, at the bare minimum this 4 hour candle range low from Friday. So essentially, this didn't work all in one shot. We basically ran back above to clear this basically buy side liquidity. So it was a quick purge, and then there was a run back above. And then you actually got the break above, but when you got this breakthrough, it dropped off precipitously after that. The the framework, if you want to call it that, would have been the fact that this was your Asia session, this was your London, and basically within London session, it took out the high. So at the very minimum, you could have just targeted like Asia low. I know you could say this is hindsight, but I've done like a few videos. So for the people that are new, that might be new for you. For the people that have been watching my videos, you kind of know that this is like I'm always looking at those session lows if the high's been run out, and I'm looking at the session highs if the lows have been run out. Also, the other thing to factor in is that the original buy side and sell side from the opening range had not been cleared. So my bias via short term or what have you was, if we take it a buy side, we're looking for the sell side at some point, right? Um, it just so happened that when we had this buy side from London taken out with establishing an 8:30 buy side liquidity as well, the move back inside once we got to 8:30 and 8:30 purged. This is one of those times where I'm not looking for the other side of the range to be taken, because there is an order flow that's already in place from a higher time frame, right? So I'm already looking for a closure back inside, because we've taken these buy side positions so many times, and that's all we're running is buy stops. That essentially at some point we're gonna get a closure low. So we actually did get that. Um, and then the creation of today's 4 hour 6 a.m. candle, which ironically enough at 1:15 ran out, and This looks like it's basically candle closure back inside, which ultimately turned into a soup. Let me go back to the 4 hour and I will show you that here. So there's no, whoop, sorry about that. So there's no question. So here is your 6 a.m. 4 hour candle low for today. It's just right here. And this is your turtle soup. Closed back inside. The next candle that opened at 2 p.m. also came back, cleared, but it clearly closed inside. So at this point, again, we've got PPI, we've got CPI this week, and I believe we also have Chairman Powell speaking. Not so much testimony, but probably enough conversation to kind of drive, not stoke, but to drive some type of a financial forecast in terms of what the Fed may be looking at going into next month. Because again, they did the quarter point, excuse me, the quarter point cut. So we could potentially, he could allude to something of that nature as to why, or the rhyme and the reasoning behind why we may be looking at something similar to that. And he won't be definitive, but he could. And that's one of the reasons why, if he does speak this week above any other Fed speaker, if he says anything that would align with the fact that, yeah, we're looking at probably another quarter point, cut, then the market even this week could respond to that. So a couple of things because we're at about 7:05 p.m. Eastern time. The market did some level of movement today, but again, with high impact news this week, tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday are going to kind of sort of set the stage for the rest of the week. Now, do we get a mixed week? Don't know. I think Tuesday may tell a story. And what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to take all of these off, and we're going to go up to the daily real quick, and we're going to look at the daily candle. So this first large doji, this is Monday, and obviously 6 p.m. just opened, so 6 p.m. opens the Tuesday, right? Now, I'm not saying this is the gospel or anything, but this is just I guess, based on how price is delivering. It's an idea. It's just a thought. So my initial thought, if we're looking at basically the 4 hour candle from today, right? The 4 hour candle in context to this daily means absolutely nothing. It is completely insignificant. It is at this point, because right now there's not been a whole lot of movement. So the idea, and just to go back, and then we'll recap this real quick, and then I'll come back to the daily, and then I'll give you what I'm thinking. Okay. So on a 4 hour with the soup, ideally what we would be looking for is the run out of this liquidity here. We'd be looking for this. And I know it still says pre 8:30 buy side liquidity, but again, if you notice that this is a candle, it's a candle wick. I'm not gonna, annotate over or around or above just putting something else on a chart. Like it's too much. So ideally with the soup, the close back inside, the idea and the concept is we're going to run out the opposing side's liquidity. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That would still be the plan. However, something that I said yesterday, and quite often say, is I'm not really going to be able to sit and trade through any of this or take any positions. A paper trade, if I wake up again in the morning and I see something that's going to be relatively quick, like an in and out, after London, before London, what have you. But the uncertainty in the news, don't know. Now, if basically PPI comes out, and I believe if PPI is positive, we can see a jump in this number. Obviously, if CPI is positive, we'll see bullish price. Now, what could that mean for the interterm? It may be that we don't really get anything, meaning that we could see Tuesday open with another 4 hour candle in here, and I mean 4 hour candle range high and a low that sits literally inside Monday. And I would be looking, again, just going back and looking at Monday's range, because if that happens, tomorrow on Tuesday, basically, if Tuesday's candle opens in, or basically if Tuesday's candle stays inside of Monday's range, for me, even if I was in a position where I can, trade New York AM, PM, doesn't matter. Even Asia, to be honest, I would be hands off. I wouldn't touch it because that could indicate, unless Wednesday starts off through Asia and then going into London, if Wednesday's price takes out basically buy side or sell side, then at that point I'm going to target. I would look for the opposing end of the range, because now I'm looking from a weekly, not even a daily. I'm looking at a weekly profile. Wednesday high low of the week. Usually you're going to see Thursday with a continuation. It's not 100%, but the probability is a little bit greater on your side of, you know, as long as the structure dictates and the price action shows, Thursday is more than likely going to align with Wednesday if Wednesday sets a higher low of the week. So again, we really have to just kind of watch and see how Tuesday forms. It's still early, so we're not quite into Asia. But let's drop down while you're here. We'll go down to the 5 minute, and let's just look at price as it's developing here. We'll do this real quick, and then I'm gonna beat feet. So okay, so that's 415, and that's 6. So this PM opening range is from here to here. I'm just gonna do it that way. So that would be opening range. Just gonna type in here Tuesday. 6:02 p.m. opening range. And I'll just pull this over so you can actually see that that's what that says. Now, I'm just going to attach array here, but this is where my charts kind of go a little haywire. Let's change that. Let's make that... and it would just call this 6 p.m. opening range buy side liquidity. Because we're at 712, so, and this is 645. Okay, so we can clone that, and now we're sitting in this range. So again, one of the reasons why I do this is to, again, it's framework. It's literally just to kind of, in some cases, train your eye to see like what's going on at a given time, right? So we had the massive move back today, right? We had this move all the way back in and down, and what are we? We as I said earlier, we were taking buy stops, clearing the buy side liquidity, and then we've broken all the way back down, and now we're kind of closing back inside. Now there is something that is interesting in all of this, which is let's see. So this, I believe, is going to be, yeah. So this is going to be Friday low, okay? Excuse me. And this is going to essentially constitute Friday high. So what have we done, right? And this is something else that's talked about. But again, it's framing within the context of ranges if you're not able to read and see the structure overall. So what does any and all of that mean? Well, here's just previous day high, previous day low, right? What did we do today? We essentially took Well, I wouldn't call this Friday high. I'd probably call this Friday high. Yeah, I would call this Friday high. So basically the PM session. So high, Friday low. So we open up, right? Sunday, yesterday, we open up and we run previous day high, previous regular trading hour, whatever you want to call it, previous day high. We run that high. Okay. We put in a new high, right? And then essentially, um, based on when I was talking about Bitcoin and everything yesterday, what did I say yesterday? Well, okay, it's not regular trade hour. It's the opening range, um, and this then becomes that opening range. So again, now it's a confluence. It might look like it's hindsight, but just follow along, take what you will from it. Go back, and I would just tell you, like, this is one of the few videos I'll actually tell you, go back and watch this video a couple of times and look at these points, and then go into your charts and find it and back test it, forward test it, and just see if it avails itself to you. But if you're looking at previous day high, previous day low, we've taken out previous day high. Okay, we're coming into a economic news week, right? So we have more than one thing that's going to be happening this week, right? Um, so we run out the high, and I said yesterday, what I typically, like, I'm not jumping into anything, but even though we get into another Asia session, we get into another London session, you have to still be mindful. We took out a previous day high. So again, framework, price ranges, everything, like, it all still lines up if you allow it, and that's where you just kind of have to allow your brain to be malleable to the point where you're not trying to fight it. You just kind of say, okay, what are you trying to show me, right? Ranges. If this is the high, and like I said, I didn't look at this. I was still looking back here at this, right? But overall, the idea should be, okay, we've made these highs, made this high. If you were sitting and you were watching, it's like, okay, Asia, London took out Asia high. There's a sell side liquidity. Um, this is kind of off hours, but again, there's sell side liquidity. What else could we be looking for? Especially when we make this 8:30, pre 8:30 buy side liquidity, and then we drop back into London. Is it possible that we come down, we take out pre 8:30, pop back up here, and you get a Judah swing? Is that possible? Yes, it is. What's probable? I'm not gonna sit here and say that this was the probable move. Like, if you asked me, I would probably look at the structure, and I might have thought that, yeah, maybe price would have taken another stab back up into this fair value. It's possible, right? But hey, who knows? Um, I wouldn't have expected it to take the buy side per se, only because we cleared out a previous day high. So what would you be looking for? You'd be looking for it to close back inside this range. And when it does close inside, right, with this candle, it comes back up, taps into uh, the creation of the concept and encroachment of Monday's range, opening range today, and then it rallies away, right? It rallies, and it continues down. And what does it ultimately continue all the way down to and through? Friday, previous day low. So you've cleared out basically in a day and a half, Sunday PM into today, Monday. You've cleared out Friday's range today. Okay, massive move. So for anybody that caught that, congratulations, and well done. Now we're at a point where, instead of where it's typically Monday stuck in Friday's range, trying to figure out which way the market wants to shake out or what's it want to do. Now we're in a little bit of a different situation, which means that the week, as I said earlier, you could be looking at a mixed week because of high impact news, which is, what does Tuesday do in relationship to Monday's range? Monday's range is I don't want to over exaggerate and say it's like extremely significant, but it's a pretty decent size range, right? So to my thought process, the more back and forth that we see Asia, if we see a very concise Asia, we might see a run in London. If at some point, as Asia warms up, and again, we're not even into Asian session yet, but if Asia runs, London may have some retracement, and then New York may go silent as a church mouse tomorrow, until data, until you get you get reports that come out. So I would still use the 6 p.m. opening range to maybe kind of sort of give me an idea. My initial idea we talked about earlier. I'll go back and I'll say it again. And I'm kind of giving you a either or, but for me, based on how I would be looking and trading this, I'm just going to tell you at the outset what looks like is about to happen would offset maybe my trade idea. My trade idea would be to look for today's 6 a.m. 4 hour candle range high to be taken. That would be my target. Now, if this buy side liquidity gets taken, now I would have to wait for what? I'd have to wait for a Judas swing, right? I'd have to wait for price to take the buy side, price to come back through, take the sell side, and then at some point I'd be looking for price to run back through, clear out the manipulation from this level, and maybe come back and treat maybe the last what would it be? The last up close, or excuse me, the last up close candle prior to that run through. I'd have to treat it as a breaker to negate or to give myself a better risk reward if I was in a position, or if that occurs at a time where I could even get into a position. That I'm going to say that might be a bit much, but again, that's not me saying I demand price do this. That's me saying in order for me to follow through with what my bias would be, that is something that I would have to see. If I don't see that, I am going to just continue to think that while the rules have been met under given circumstances, that that's the probability of the move in the trade. Again, the potential manual intervention may offset that idea altogether. So it's just better to kind of do nothing and sit on the side. And if it runs, great. And then if it doesn't, then maybe there's another opportunity. Maybe that opportunity presents itself on Wednesday, since once more, Tuesday is so tightly inside of Monday's range that, you know, it could be, like I said, it could be setting up for a mixed week, and we might have to wait until Wednesday, right? So that's gonna do it. I still managed to ramble for about 23 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Any comments or anything, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what market you're looking at, and what analysis you have. I appreciate your time. Stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.